Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing induced test in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against Czech Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. I must decant all food from my micro bag into a plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering outlets will be shut. So no fancy burgers or cartons of flat Pepsi to keep me going. When I obediently turn up to a stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparse. The pub outside the ground overflow with supporters wrapped in Scotland flag looked like a tempting alternative. But when I suggest to a steward that might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you're going to, she says. That will see you coming. What is she referring to? Could it be the dance book bag A4 side that I'm clutching? I haven't given my spare ticket to a real Scot, my friend Alastair, but he's from Edinburgh, so also not 100% at home in Glasgow. We decide to take the advice and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter a fan in the loudest tartan suit I have ever seen, including a tiny tartan clutch bag. I pose for a photo with him, and then he tells me I had a tailor-made son. It fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar European football tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. Culture wars. Culture war. It's not because national football teams are a symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for Scotland it is independence. For England it is race. It is race. The English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism, but each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. Government seems uncertain about it. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Priti Patel, have defended the protest, with Rees-Mogg suggesting that the protesters are not expressing racism but condemning the Marxists of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, Britain's Home Secretary, has accused the player of indulging in gesturing politics. Players from the England team, whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, and now being asked to act Home Secretary. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the English, to be worried of clashing with the England team. Last year it went down to an ignominious defeat when it took on Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meals for poor families. The Manchester United and England Forum mobilized 1 million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Rashford preparation for Euro 2020 included a Zoom call with Barack Obama, while plenty of tourists are prepared to grumble about the Rashford in private. None are willing to take him on in public. The cultural wars over football are not just happening in Britain. When the multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game in the tournament, they were also booed by the crowd. by the crowd. Doubtless the Russians were also protesting against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the host nations for 2020, had defended fans who were visiting teams that take the knee, saying that Hungarians see the gesture as a provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warnings about eldest dangers of Europe being flooded by Muslims. But even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable about footballers taking the knee. One prominent Tory thinker in Britain laments to me that football has been a political space, but now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96, when England also played their games at Wembley and the whole country did seem to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium all joined in the singing of the Lions, football's coming home. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds actually bring the players. For somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea that the team was never mixed up with politics or race is an illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of sordid hooligans and far-right supporters whose trademark chant is "No surrender to RA." At the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism re-emerged. When I remarked another when I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a near riot outside a bar in Marseille, I was told curtly, "If you don't like it, you should stay home and watch the game on television." Football ground in the 1970s were also where I saw the most overt racism that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players bark by boos and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national side feel that feel they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into an political space. The politics, particularly the racial politics, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for a second independence referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local paper full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish government has even allowed schools to stop lessons to allow the kids to watch the game on television. To watch the game against Tex Leafs. As a visiting English fan, I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournaments. I had little options since England failed to qualify for the World Cup of 1974 and 1978, but British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem played for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was "God Save the Queen", although the YouTube recording does not show the Scottish player looking particularly delighted. Today, the crowd and team will be belting out Flower Scotland with a stern word that we can still rise now and be the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 90,000 people inside Hampden. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonely up in the stand, even if the Tartan army has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions. Battalions. They built a floor of Scotland loud enough to join our conversation. The team started the game with all the expected passion and streamed forward. Their captain Andy Roberts can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the Czech score, and the air sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, which I choose spend in the toilet next to the hand dryer, the warmest spot in Hampden, there is hopeful chatter around the urinal that Scotland might be able to turn this round. But early in the second half, football history is made by the Czechs. Patrick Schick, the team centre forward, gets the ball on the halfway line and floats the ball over the Scottish goalkeeper into the net. It is one of the most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. The crowd is now almost totally silent, apart from a tiny group of cheering Czechs on the other side of the stadium, and a group of children near me who continue happily shouting for Scotland, while the other around them was frozen in horror. After the match, a lost there reminds me that Scottish fans are used to be bitter disappointment. Making the national football team a symbol of the nation is a double-edged sword. We imagine them scoring wonderful goals and celebrating the fans. But what if your goalkeeper ends up floundering flat on his back, tangled up in the net? Euro 2020 has already delivered humbling setbacks for two football-mad populist leaders. Urban gave permission for a capacity crowd to attend Hungary's opening games in Budapest against Portugal, only to see the national side lose 3-0 Recep Erdogan, president of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and sat in a place of honor next to the Azer president, from where he was able to see Turkey go down to a 2-0 defeat against Wales. England fans also have a habit disappointing their most ardent fans. The side often portrays as the embodiment of what we like to believe are national characteristics: courage, calmness under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by Jonah Lear in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely bad at holding a lead in a tournament. The numbers seem to suggest they might even be bottlers, and that all heresy, the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve when they take a lead. If Gareth Southgate, the England manager, can somehow break this cycle and turn England into a winning outfit, it will inadvertently provide a huge boost to the Johnson government that is desperate for symbol of the success of Brexit Britain. But Southgate has subtly but unmistakably positioned himself to the left of the government on taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and has recently defended their right to make statements on subjects other than football. It has become accepted wisdom in Britain that culture wars always work better for the right than the left. But football may be an exception. A poll taken across Europe before Euro 2020 showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% opposed. If the England team keep winning, the number in favor may rise, along with the team's popularity. For once, the right may find itself on the wrong end of a culture war. For the duration of Euro 2020, I will care much less about who wins the culture war than who wins the tournament. For Scotland, Euro 2020 began with a deflating defeat. The England team disappoint their fans almost as reliably as the Scots, so slightly later in the day. On the other hand, this is a real tournament. It's taking place in the middle of pandemic, the stadiums are quarter full, and England are playing the half decently. I am allowing myself to put a realist outcome of the lot, an England victory.